Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I got my first paid job, which is this, my friend's bike. It has one of those generic two-stroke bike kits, tank and everything. Seems like whatever brand you get it from, it's always the exact same engine because I worked on another friend's bike before. It was a Skyhawk and all of these parts are identical. Down to the covers, the clutch, everything on them, it's all the same. But my friend needs this fixed. It has two main issues from what he told me. One was that it's running way too rich, so there's something up for the carb, and the rear wheel wobbles while it moves. I haven't seen the wheel wobble yet, but that doesn't mean it doesn't. So I think I'm gonna start with the carb, but before that, it's in a bad spot in the garage. I have to shimmy myself through to get to the other side. So I'm just going to move the whizzer over to the side so I can move that where the whizzer is. So I'll be back when I get that done. I've got his bike moved over. Whizzer is pushed against the side, which is fine. I don't need it for anything. It's too cold out anyways to go on a ride. So now I have all of this lovely space plus oil stain on the floor. Now I get to start working on the carb. Usually I would take this for a test drive first just to see, but I do remember when me and my friend were driving before, it was just pouring fuel out of the exhaust pipe. So I'm just going to start by leaning this out a lot more. Or by taking it off, which I'm probably going to do just to see the insides. So be back when I get that off. I got the carb off. My friend said it would be hard to get it off, but I didn't have that much of an issue. I got the air filter off and it just slid off. I did have to hit it with a screwdriver because it was stuck on this. But now, it's over here. On my carb table. It's a diaphragm carburetor, from what I can tell. And I don't really have that much experience with carbs like this. Interesting system. This is the choke. You push down on it, and with the throttle in place, it'll lock. And then when you give it throttle, it'll snap back like that, which is pretty neat. My friend had that jacked all the way in. Where's that? Yeah. So, not exactly sure what that does. I'll figure that out in a minute, because I'm just going to go through all of this and figure out what's inside. And I'll be back when it's all apart. I've got it all apart now, and I kept finding little bits of metal while I was taking it apart, and I couldn't figure out why. They used a hacksaw to cut this. Right where you clamp it down, you can still see there's metal there. They just never cleaned it off. Because I was finding metal in there, there's bits of trash. Found out this is a fuel filter, so that's pretty neat. But there's stuff in there too. Pretty sure in the bowl there might have been, yeah. There's some stuff in the bowl, but I can't believe they actually managed to sell a carb like that. Cut the hacksaw right there. You can still see where it's sharp too, because I just picked off some metal from it. It's still there. I can't believe that. Anyway, I'm just going to clean all of these parts and then I'll put it back together and try and tune it. The carb's all back together. It's as clean as I could get it. There's still little bits of random stuff there, but that doesn't matter. At least there's no more metal inside of it, so that's nice. I still can't believe that. Cut off a hacksaw. Anyway, fuel filter's back on, and I did find out this is an idle adjust. There's no way to adjust the fuel mixture, the air fuel mixture. So that's cool. And now I'm just going to put it back on the bike. I've got the carb mostly on. It's all I have to do is attach the fuel line and put everything back. But I just want to show how the inside of this works. This is a slide carburetor, like on most bikes. So when I pull the throttle, it slides this up and down. I did find out that idle screw does almost nothing. It barely moves it. Anyways, this is how the choke works. It has a spring, so when you pull it down fully, it locks into place. And that little arm there is attached to the throttle up in this little housing here. So when I twist the throttle, this doesn't slide off my knee. Pull it the full way, and it falls. Pull it the full way, and it does disengage. See if I can try that again. Oh, it didn't even. Whatever. I'll do it right here. There. It's hard to do because I only have one hand to work with, and I have to use it for the throttle, so. It's not a bad system. I can see if that arm gets stuck, then it's going to be a bad time, just because then you're going to be flooding the engine. So, not a terrible design. I wish there was a fuel mixture mix, or a fuel mixture screw. That'd be nice, but it should be fine. So I'm just going to hook this up and I'll be back. Carburetor's back on the bike. I'd use a zip tie to clamp down the hose a little bit more, or the fuel line. It's hard as a rock and it doesn't really seat anymore. Plastic shouldn't sound like that. Yeah, and I have to take this on a little test drive just to tune the carburetor a little bit. Only the idle, because I can't tune the air fuel mixture. So before I do that, I'm going to check the spark plug to make sure that's not fouled. The spark plug's in really good condition. It seems to be... doesn't seem like it was burning horribly rich. But I'm not really familiar with two-stroke, so this could be rich or might not be. But in the world of four-strokes, that looks decent to me. So I'm just going to put this back in and go for a test drive and tune it. I got the idle set on the carb. It's only out by about that far, which is a lot lower than what it was before. Everything seems to be fine. It was running decently. I didn't see any issues with it. Started right up. Revved up just fine when I gave it throttle, and it was running fine off the choke. So all of that seems to be perfectly fine. And while I was test driving it, I looked back at the wheel just because my friend told me that the carburetor and the wheel had issues. And it's a little warped, which makes sense because if you look at the spokes, some of them are a little different from each other. That's fun. That's always fun. So I don't think I can fix that without taking the wheel off completely, but I'll ask my friend tonight if there are any more issues, because I haven't seen any. He said the wheel... I think he said the wheel kicks to the side, but I haven't experienced that. So I'll be back probably tomorrow morning. It's now the next day. I asked my friend last night what was happening with the wheel, and he said it kicks to the side when you start it. I started it yesterday, didn't see that, so he never got back to me after I said I didn't see anything. So what I'm going to do now is go for a little test drive at top speed just to see if everything's running well, and if there's something wrong with the wheel, I'll probably feel it going 50. So before I do that, I am going to fix the brakes, the rear brakes. They do almost nothing. That's, whoops, fully closed. They do almost nothing. That one's still dragging. That's not even, huh. That one doesn't even release, so I'll fix that up, and then I'll go on a little test drive. So be back when the brakes are fixed. Rear brakes are fixed. They grab a little bit sooner now. They feel just the same, which is fine. The front brakes do about 3 times the work anyways, so time to go on a little test drive. And if I figured out a way to mount the camera to my chest or helmet, then I would record, but I haven't yet. So I'm just gonna go on a little ride down the road and back, and I'll pick the camera back up again when I'm back. Back from my little test drive, and everything seems to be running fine. I'm not sure what these two strokes should be like, but it seemed fine. Didn't seem like it was doing anything it's not normal. When I was trying to pull it back in the garage though, these two broken spokes, that one and that one there, one of them got caught in the chain and popped it. So I just asked my friend if he's okay with me cutting these spokes out, because if I don't, the next time he goes for a drive, he's gonna have a surprise. So whether or not he gets back to me today, I don't know, but I'll continue this video when he does. It's been a few days, but my friend gave me the go-ahead to cut both of these spokes out because they're just going to be causing problems, and he doesn't feel like getting a new wheel yet. And he also gave me some fuel line so I can replace this, because this fuel line, I told him it wasn't sealing, so he picked some up when I last saw him. So now I just have to cut a new fuel line and cut out those two spokes, and I'll be back. I got both spokes cut, just left little nubs here and there. And I also got the fuel line replaced. They don't give you a lot of fuel line, because that was one entire loop there. So that's all replaced. And I forgot to mention the chain was also loose, so I tightened that up a little bit. Not by much, but it's tightened. I might tighten a little bit more later on, but the next step for this now is I have to wait for my friend to come over tomorrow, because he's going to drive this back to his house, so hope I did a good job. But when he comes over, I'll take a little recording of him driving down the road, just so I can show what it sounds like, drives like. It's not a bad bike. I wouldn't drive it just because I don't really like two strokes that much. Shakes a lot. I'm more used to the gentle thump of the whizzer as I go down the road. So, I'll be back when my friend's over. My friend is here to pick up his bike. So, he's just going to take it on a little run down the road first. So, I'll get back when he does that. The bike is all finished. It took a little less than a week. Everything is done that I can do. Two spokes are gone from the wheel. Those will be replaced eventually in the future. But other than that, everything is perfectly fine. Would you say you're happy with it?
Yes.
Good. So, hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.